June of 2019, my wife and I got annual passes to Disney. And at the time, we lived in Las Vegas, and it was about a 4-hour drive, 3.5, 4-hour drive out to California. It was super nice. It was something that we hadn't really planned on doing. I think the main purpose of our original trip there was really just for a 4-day trip. So specifically, we went to see Galaxy's Edge. And after our first day there, a friend of ours who has been an annual pass holder for a while recommended to us that we look at getting an annual pass. And so we had a 4-day ticket, and Disney allows you to parlay that into an annual pass. So you get the discount basically based on how much you've already paid for the 4 days. You get that off the annual pass. So Emily and I talked about it overnight as we went into our second day, and decided that we would get the Premier Pass. So the Premier Pass covers both Disneyland and Disney World, as well as all the water parks. You get a discount on merchandise, get a discount on a lot of food. Not everywhere, but in many places, you get a discount on food. And we decided on that because after a couple of days or after a day at Disneyland and not having been to Disney World in nearly 10 years, we were just like, hey, if we spend 20 days in the parks, the pass pays for itself. And between living 4 hours from Disneyland and being able to get some time off to go out to Disney World, we thought, hey, that's really a good way to do it. So 20 days in the parks would have paid for the pass. And so we just made that decision. So it was an annual pass. We bought it in June of 2019. So it really should have expired in June of 2020. But due to the shutdowns for COVID, our pass actually got extended. Our last trip in 2019 was near the end of the year for the Food and Wine Festival. And kind of luckily, we also got to go to Mickey and Minnie's Not So Scary, or Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is the name of it, which was really fun and exciting and something new for us. And that trip would have brought us to our 20 days, paying for the pass. We went back and did the math and spent significantly less money on food and merchandise. We kind of added up the discounts overall, and we are getting a good guesstimate that we saved $1,000 on those things. So one of the things that, we've talked about with family and some friends is, with hotels are expensive, and 28 days in a hotel is pretty expensive. And we've been lucky enough that nearly all of our hotels have been covered by points that we've earned through the years at work. So our pass actually expired at the end of March of 2021, and we were getting a lot of questions leading up to it about whether we were planning on renewing it. Now, we cannot renew the Premier Pass because Disneyland is not offering any annual passes right now, but because we have an annual pass, we can upgrade or update ours to a Florida-only annual pass. And because we had a lot of fun, and my sister and her family were going to Disney this year, what was originally planned for last year, but going this summer, and invited us to come along, we decided to go ahead and go with them. So our original Premier Pass lasted 21 months, from June of 2019 to the end of March 2021. And we spent a little over 20 days, I think it was 28 days in the parks, closer probably to 30, between Disneyland and Disney World. And so we decided to go ahead and update for the next year, so starting April 1st. So we'll have from April 1st this year until March 31st next year to utilize this annual pass. Whether we get the full year out of it or not, we'll see. Meaning how often we go, I guess. Whether we get the value out of it this year is what we'll see on. Ultimately, though, when we updated for this year, the pass is much, much cheaper because it's only for Florida. But in addition to that, we also got a $350 refund because Disneyland did not open in the window that we had our pass. So the pass dropped not only for a discount for renewing, but we also got a discount based on that $350 refund on last year's pass. So I have some information up on my website about what the actual cost was. The Premier Pass is super expensive, and looking at it again, it's almost cheaper, or probably is cheaper, just to buy a Disney World Pass and a Disneyland Pass. Looking at it now, mostly because we don't use water parks. It's not something we do. So there's definitely some money savings that we could have had there. But the dollar figures are up on my website, CajunMilephotography.com. And ultimately we did decide. We pulled the trigger. So we're going to go, we're going in July. So we're going to go spend some time, about a week there in July. And then we are planning to go for Food and Wine, the Food and Wine Festival again this year. So this will be our third year in a row going to Food and Wine Festival. And we may try to go to the Art Festival again at the beginning of next year. We're also planning to try to attempt to see the Christmas decorations this year. So we're looking at Food and Wine near the end of it, so that we can get some time with Christmas decorations up. As for 50th anniversary, we are not planning on attending. I'm hoping that Tron will open while we have our passes. I'm hoping that the new Guardians ride at Epcot will open while we have these passes.